You want results, but let me be brutally clear, most never get them. They start with fire in their chest, they talk about their goals, they make promises to themselves and even announce them to others. Yet weeks later, they vanish. The dream fades, the energy drains, and the excuses rise. This is the hidden code of results: most quit, and only a few win. Why? Because results are not built on the spark of beginning, but on the grind of continuation. Results are not given to those who merely want them, they are reserved for those who refuse to stop even when the feeling dies. The truth you must face is this: results are delayed, sometimes painfully delayed. Your mind craves quick wins, your body craves comfort, and your environment feeds you shortcuts. But real results ignore your cravings. They require you to keep going when the scoreboard is still empty, when progress feels invisible, when no one is clapping. That is the exact moment most quit, and the exact moment winners separate themselves forever. If you wait to feel ready, if you demand proof before persistence, you are already programmed to fail. Look at the cycle you have lived. You set a goal, maybe it is fitness, maybe business, maybe learning a new skill. At the start, you feel unstoppable. You say, this time is different. But soon the weight feels heavier, the tasks get boring, and your energy fades. You begin negotiating, maybe tomorrow, maybe later, maybe this is not for me. That negotiation is the hidden code of quitting, and every time you obey it, you train yourself to be someone who quits. That is why most people repeat the same broken cycle every year: they start, they quit, they reset, and then they call it bad luck. It was never luck. It was discipline missing. Here is the reversal you must swallow: success is not about more desire, it is about more discipline. Everyone desires, but only a few are disciplined. Everyone wants, but only a few work daily without proof. Everyone talks, but only a few do when silence surrounds them. The hidden code is simple but hard: results respond only to consistent action, not to moods, not to motivation, not to the temporary excitement of starting. So what is the path? You must decide that quitting is no longer an option, not even a whisper. You must lock in habits so small they cannot be negotiated. You must tell yourself, whether I feel like it or not, I do it. Because discipline is not about feelings, it is about identity. When you act with discipline daily, you teach your brain, I am the type of person who finishes. That identity is unshakable, and it will carry you when willpower runs dry. Now breathe this truth: results are slow. They test your patience. But every rep, every hour, every boring repetition is a brick in the unseen wall. Keep stacking, and one day the wall is undeniable. Others will call it overnight success. You will know it was the hidden code: never quitting, always building, brick by brick, day after day. Say it out loud now: I refuse to quit. I refuse excuses. I live with discipline, and I finish what I start. Comment below: I finish to declare it. And if you are serious about building unshakable discipline and habits that guarantee success, hit subscribe and ring the bell. This is your daily mindset reset. You wake up some mornings and feel powerful. Other mornings, you feel nothing at all. Some days you burn with energy, ready to conquer the world. Other days, you just want to stay under the covers. This is the trap most people fall into: they live by their emotions. If they feel good, they work. If they feel bad, they stop. And then they wonder why results never arrive. This is the great lie: that discipline is optional, that emotions are the compass. But here is the truth: emotions are fragile, discipline is forever. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself you would start when you felt ready? How many promises have you delayed because the mood was not there? You wanted to write but felt uninspired. You wanted to train but felt tired. You wanted to build but felt unmotivated. And each time you surrendered, you told your brain a dangerous story: my feelings are my master. That story kills results. Because the code of winning has no patience for feelings. Winners understand something the masses refuse to accept: action creates feeling, not the other way around. They don't wait for motivation, they generate it by moving. They don't wait for inspiration, they summon it by starting. They don't wait for energy, they create it by stepping forward. The loser says, I'll act when I feel good. The winner says, I'll act first, and feeling will follow. This is why most quit and few win. You must rewire this pattern. You must decide that emotions are background noise, not your leader. Discipline means you act regardless of weather, regardless of mood, regardless of whether the applause is loud or the silence is heavy. Discipline means you keep your promises to yourself when no one is watching. Discipline means your identity is built on what you do, not how you feel. Imagine two paths. On one path, you wait for feelings. Days slip, momentum dies, excuses multiply. On the other path, you act whether or not you feel like it. You wake when you said you would. You train when you promised you would. You create when inspiration is absent. Slowly, the second path builds results, confidence, and identity. The first path builds regret. Which path are you on? This is the hidden code. Emotions are temporary, but results are permanent. You can scream about how tired you are, how uninspired you feel, but the scoreboard doesn't care. The bank account doesn't care. The mirror doesn't care. Only action matters, and action only comes when you step beyond your feelings. Stop asking, do I feel like it, and start declaring, this is what I do. Now repeat this to yourself, I am not my emotions. I am my discipline. I act whether I feel high or low, ready or not, energized or exhausted. I act because action is who I am. Say it out loud, I choose discipline over feelings. Comment below, discipline first, to lock it in. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. You have been told a lie since the beginning, that motivation is the key to results. You scroll, you search, you wait for that spark, that video, that speech that makes you feel unstoppable. And for a moment, it works. You feel the rush, you start strong, you believe this time will be different. But then what? Days later the rush fades, the fire cools, and you are left with nothing but the memory of how good you felt for a short while. That is the motivation trap. Most people build their dreams on the sand of motivation, and when the tide of emotion changes, their dreams collapse. That is why most quit and only a few win. Motivation is like a sugar rush. It spikes, it excites, and it disappears. It cannot carry you through boredom. It cannot carry you through fatigue. It cannot carry you through the long invisible middle where results are made. But most never understand this. They keep waiting for more motivation, as if someday it will arrive and never leave. They tell themselves, I'll start when I feel it again. That sentence is the grave of their potential. Because if you wait to feel ready, you will wait forever. The winners understand the secret, motivation follows action, not the other way around. They know the code. They know that if you want energy, you move first. If you want clarity, you work first. If you want momentum, you act first. They don't chase the feeling. They create it by moving. The weak wait to feel good. The strong do it anyway, and because they do it, they feel good later. This is the reversal you must accept. You cannot depend on inspiration to carry you. You must depend on your discipline. Every time you act without motivation, you train yourself to become unshakable. Every time you wait for motivation, you train yourself to quit. Your brain is learning who you are with every decision. Do you want it to learn that you are a drifter who waits, or a builder who acts? Look at your own life. How many projects have you abandoned because the motivation died? How many times have you said, I'll get back on track when I feel it again? How many opportunities have slipped because you were waiting for a spark instead of creating the fire yourself? That is why you are stuck. The hidden code is clear, winners stop waiting. They live by systems, not moods. They rely on habits, not hype. So here is the practical truth, stop chasing the high. Build the structure. Lock in non-negotiable habits that run no matter how you feel. Small daily actions that require no permission from motivation. Wake at the time you said. Write the line you promised. Do the rep you committed to. Each time you do, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than feelings. You become the rare one, the one who wins while others are still waiting. Now say it with me, I do not wait for motivation. I act first. Motivation follows me, not the other way around. Comment below, I act first to seal it. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Most people hate structure. They think freedom means waking up whenever they want, working only when inspired, doing things only when convenient. They call it flexibility, they call it creativity, they call it living life on their terms. But look closely, this freedom is why they are stuck. They start but never finish. They promise but never deliver. They drift from one plan to another, always searching, never locking in. Why? Because without structure, discipline collapses. And without discipline, results are impossible. This is the hidden code. Real freedom comes from structure. It sounds like a paradox, but it is not. Structure is the container that protects your focus, guards your energy, and keeps you aligned when motivation dies. Winners do not wake up hoping they will get things done. They wake up inside a system that forces things to get done. That is why they win while others are still planning. Think about it. The gym session you planned but skipped. The book you wanted to write but delayed. The business idea you kept dreaming about but never executed. In each case, the failure was not in your desire, it was in your lack of structure. You gave yourself too much freedom, and that freedom became a prison. Because when you can do it anytime, you end up doing it at no time. Structure is not restriction. Structure is liberation. It removes decision fatigue. It eliminates negotiation. It silences the inner debate of should I or should I not. Structure answers that question before it even arises. Yes, you will, because that is what the system demands. The strongest people in the world are not the ones with endless motivation. They are the ones who have systems so solid that even on their weakest days, the structure carries them forward. Here is the reversal: if you want more freedom, build more rules. If you want more creativity, build more boundaries. If you want more results, create more structure. A writer who only writes when inspired never finishes a book. A writer who writes at 6 a.m. every day has shelves full of finished work. A builder who only works when he feels like it never creates anything of value. A builder who commits to daily progress, no matter how small, eventually creates something undeniable. So what is your system? Do you know what time you wake up? Do you know when you train? Do you know when you create? Or are you still leaving it to chance? If your life has no clear rhythms, then excuses will sneak in through every crack. But if your life has locked-in patterns, then even when you feel weak, the pattern keeps moving. Stop resisting structure. Stop calling it boring. Stop calling it restrictive. Start calling it the foundation of your freedom. Build systems so strong they carry you when you are tired, distracted, or uninspired. That is how you win. That is how you rise above the crowd of quitters. Say it out loud now: I live by structure, I rise by order, and I finish what I start. Comment below: structure wins to declare your commitment. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Excuses are not harmless. They are not small lies you tell yourself to feel better. They are not innocent delays. Excuses are identity builders. Every excuse you accept writes a line in the script of who you are. When you say, I am too tired today, you are not just skipping one action, you are teaching your brain, I am someone who quits when tired. When you say, I don't have time, you are not just postponing, you are teaching yourself, I am someone who does not prioritize what matters. Over time, these repeated excuses merge into an identity, the identity of a quitter. And once you adopt that identity, results are impossible. Most people never notice this. They think excuses are one-time events, isolated and harmless. They don't realize each excuse is a vote cast in the election of their future self. One vote says, I am weak. Another says, I am unreliable. Another says, I am inconsistent. After years of these votes, their identity is sealed. They look in the mirror and no longer see a person who finishes, they see a person who always starts and always stops. That is the hidden code of results. Your excuses become your identity, and your identity locks your destiny. But here is the reversal: if excuses can shape your identity, then so can discipline. Every time you act when it is hard, you cast a vote for the identity of strength. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you cast a vote for the identity of trust. Every time you finish what you start, you cast a vote for the identity of a winner. Over time, those votes accumulate. Slowly, you look in the mirror and you see someone unshakable, someone who does not break at the first obstacle. That identity is your weapon, and once it is built, quitting becomes unthinkable. This is why you must treat excuses as poison. You cannot allow even one to slip through unnoticed, because each one writes on the walls of your mind. The next time you hear yourself say, "I don't have time," you must answer, "I make time." The next time you whisper, "I am too tired," you must respond, "I am stronger than my fatigue." The next time you think, "It's too late for me," you must shout, "I am just beginning." Because in those small battles, your identity is being rewritten. So ask yourself right now, what identity have you been voting for? Have you been shaping yourself into someone who finds reasons to quit, or someone who finds reasons to win? Be honest. Because the scoreboard does not lie. Your results are the echo of your identity, and your identity is the echo of your daily choices. Here is the path: stop negotiating with excuses. Build an identity that cannot accept them. Start with small non-negotiable actions that prove to you that you are a finisher. Guard them with everything you have. Because each one is not just an action, it is a declaration of who you are. Now say it with me: I reject excuses, I embrace discipline, I live as someone who finishes. Comment below, "I finish what I start," to declare your new identity. And subscribe now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Everyone loves discipline when life is smooth. When the calendar is clear, when the energy is high, when the world feels calm, it is easy to act consistent. But that is not where discipline is proven. Real discipline is forged in chaos. The truth is, life will never arrange itself perfectly for you. Plans will fall apart, distractions will arrive, problems will hit you all at once. And that is exactly when most people quit. They say, "I'll get back on track when things settle down." But things never settle. Chaos is the normal condition of life, and waiting for calm is waiting for nothing. That is why most quit and few win. Look at your own history. How many times have you fallen off because of unexpected stress? A busy week at work, a personal crisis, an overwhelming schedule. You told yourself it was temporary, you told yourself you would restart later. But that later stretched into weeks, months, sometimes years. You taught your brain that when chaos rises, discipline disappears. That is not discipline at all, it is convenience disguised as discipline. The hidden code of results is this: discipline is only real if it survives chaos. Anyone can be consistent when it is easy. The rare ones, the winners, are consistent when it is messy, painful, and inconvenient. They are the ones who keep training while traveling, who keep writing when the house is noisy, who keep building when the schedule is packed. They don't wait for conditions, they create conditions through their actions. That is the separation line between the quitters and the winners. Here is the reversal you must accept: chaos is not an excuse to stop, chaos is the exact arena where discipline proves itself. You cannot wait for perfect order, because perfect order never comes. You must learn to act inside disorder. You must learn to guard your habits even when the ground shakes beneath you. If your discipline cannot survive in chaos, it is not discipline, it is comfort. So what do? You build habits so small, so locked, that chaos cannot shake them. You commit to actions that are non-negotiable no matter what happens. Even on your worst day, you can still do something. One set at the gym. One page written. One call made. One step taken. These small acts are the anchors that hold you steady in the storm. And when the storm passes, you are still on track, while everyone else is starting over again. You must reframe chaos. Stop seeing it as interruption, start seeing it as initiation. Every time chaos arrives, it is your test. It asks you, will you quit like the masses, or will you prove you are the rare one? Each time you choose discipline inside chaos, you engrave into your identity, I am unstoppable. And that identity becomes permanent armor against all future storms. Now say it with me, I rise in chaos, I hold my discipline when the world shakes, I finish what I start no matter what. Comment below, I rise in chaos to claim it. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Noise is everywhere. Notifications, opinions, endless headlines, distractions disguised as opportunities. Every second of your life, something is trying to steal your attention. And here is the dangerous truth, most people let it. They live with phones in their hands, tabs always open, background noise always running. They wake up and scroll, they fall asleep and scroll, and in between, they let the world set their thoughts, their mood, and even their choices. Then they wonder why they feel scattered, anxious, and stuck. The answer is simple, their focus has been stolen. But here is the hidden code of results, focus is not found, it is guarded. You don't stumble into clarity. You don't accidentally discover concentration. You must defend it like your most valuable possession. Because it is. The rare few who win understand this truth, your focus is your life. Whatever owns your attention owns your results. And if you let the noise own it, your results will belong to the noise. Think about it. How many times have you sat down to work, only to check your phone every 5 minutes? How many times have you lost an hour to meaningless scrolling? How many times have you told yourself you were busy, when in truth you were simply distracted? Each time you gave in, you told your brain that focus is optional. And over time, that optionality becomes identity, you become someone who cannot hold attention. That is why most quit and few win. The winners flip the script. They guard their focus like warriors. They cut out noise without apology. They say no more than they say yes. They control their inputs because they know inputs control outputs. They choose silence over constant noise, books over endless scrolling, clarity over confusion. And because they guard their focus, they can build momentum while the rest of the world drifts. Here is the reversal, don't wait to feel focused. Create conditions that make focus unavoidable. Put the phone away. Shut the door. Block the sites. Say no to the meeting. Protect your time like your life depends on it, because it does. You are not just defending minutes. You are defending your future. Every distraction you allow today delays your destiny tomorrow. So ask yourself, what is stealing your focus? Who is renting space in your mind without paying rent? What habits are scattering your attention? Be ruthless in answering. Because until you cut them, you cannot build results. Winners do not drift, they design. They do not wait for silence, they build it. They do not hope for clarity, they carve it out by saying no. Now say it with me, I guard my focus, I protect my attention, and I give my energy only to what builds my future. Comment below, focus guarded to lock it in. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Most people think results come from one giant breakthrough, one massive action, one lucky moment that changes everything. They wait for that miracle day, the day when all their efforts suddenly explode into success. But that day never comes for them, because they ignore the true code of results. Greatness is built on small wins, stacked daily, invisible at first, unstoppable later. Winners do not chase miracles, they stack victories. Losers wait for a leap, winners build a ladder. Think about your own life. How many times have you quit because progress felt too small, too slow, too invisible? You went to the gym for a week, and the mirror didn't change. You saved money for a month, and your account still looked weak. You wrote for a few days, and the pages looked thin. You said, "This isn't working," and you quit. That impatience killed you. Because results were not absent, they were compounding. You just quit before they showed. That is why most quit and few win. The truth is this, success is not a lightning strike, it is a snowball. At first it looks like nothing. You push, and the ball barely moves. But with each push, it grows heavier, larger, more unstoppable. Then one day, everyone else sees it, but by then it is too late for them, you already built momentum they cannot catch. That is the hidden code: stack small wins, protect them fiercely, and let them multiply over time. Here is the reversal: stop underestimating the power of small daily actions. Stop saying, "It's just one rep, just one page, just $1. Those just ones are the bricks of destiny. Every rep teaches your brain that you are consistent. Every page proves that you are a creator. Every dollar shows you are disciplined. Stack them, and soon they tower into results that cannot be ignored. Ignore them, and you remain stuck forever. So what is the path? Build streaks. Celebrate consistency, not intensity. Focus on never breaking the chain, not on achieving everything overnight. Winners know the truth: missing one small action is not about losing progress, it is about breaking identity. They protect their streak because they know each win is sacred. They know the scoreboard of life is built one small mark at a time. Ask yourself now, what small win can you stack today? Not tomorrow, not later, today. Do it. Then do it again tomorrow. And again the day after. Stack long enough, and you will become unstoppable. Now say it with me: I stack wins, I compound progress, and I refuse to break my streak. Comment below: stack wins to seal it. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. The most dangerous enemy is not outside you, it is inside your head. It is the spiral of thoughts that begins small but quickly becomes a storm. You miss one action, and the voice says, "It's fine, you'll do it tomorrow." Tomorrow comes, and the voice says, "You already broke the streak, what's the point?" A week later, the voice whispers, "Maybe this just isn't for you." That is the thought spiral. And it is the graveyard of results. Most people never escape it, because they don't even realize it is happening. They think they are making logical choices, when in reality they are being hypnotized by a loop designed to make them quit. This spiral has a pattern. It always begins with a tiny compromise. One skipped workout, one delayed call, one broken promise. That compromise plants doubt. Doubt grows into hesitation. Hesitation feeds excuses. Excuses become identity. And identity decides destiny. The entire spiral can start in less than a day, and once it begins, it pulls you deeper like quicksand. That is why most people quit silently, not with a bang but with a slow surrender to their own thinking. Here is the hidden code: you cannot negotiate with the spiral, you must break it immediately. Winners understand this. They don't wait until next week. They don't allow one miss to become 10. They know the law: one small slip is human, but 2 in a row is identity. That is why they act fast. They interrupt the loop with immediate action, no matter how small. Missed the gym? Do 10 push-ups now. Missed a writing session? Write 1 sentence now. Missed a call? Send a message now. They don't let the loop tighten. They snap it instantly. Here is the reversal: failure is not in the first miss, failure is in the second. You will fall, but you must never fall twice in a row. You must teach your brain that the spiral cannot own you. Every time you catch it and break it, you prove you are stronger than your excuses. Every time you delay, you dig deeper into the pit. So what is your practice? Build the reflex: when the spiral starts, act instantly. Don't overthink, don't wait for the perfect solution, just move. Break the pattern with motion. Because once you move, the spiral is broken, the loop is disrupted, and the identity of discipline is reinforced. That is the difference between those who quit and those who finish. Now say it with me: I break the spiral, I act before excuses multiply, I own my identity as a finisher. Comment below: I break the spiral, to claim it. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Every action you take is a vote. Not for today, but for the person you are becoming. When you wake up and follow through on your plan, you cast a vote for the identity of discipline. When you show up to the gym even when tired, you cast a vote for the identity of strength. When you write 1 page even when uninspired, you cast a vote for the identity of a creator. Each small action might feel invisible, but together they are building your identity, brick by brick. The truth is, you are always voting. The only question is, which self are you electing to power? Most people never realize this. They think their actions are isolated, that missing one habit is harmless, that quitting just once is no big deal. But the brain keeps score. Every broken promise is a vote for weakness. Every excuse is a vote for inconsistency. Every surrender is a vote for quitting. Over time, the ballots pile up, and the election is won by the wrong self. That is why they look in the mirror years later and cannot recognize themselves. They have been voting for failure one day at a time. Here is the hidden code: identity is not declared, it is demonstrated. You cannot say, "I am disciplined," and expect results. You must act disciplined. You cannot declare, "I am focused," while living in distraction. You must prove it with choices. Your actions are louder than your affirmations. If your daily votes contradict your words, your identity will follow your actions, not your intentions. Here is the reversal: you do not act because of who you are, you become who you are because of how you act. Most people wait to feel like winners before they act like winners. But winners act like winners long before they feel it. The repetition of those winning actions builds an unshakable identity, and eventually, the feeling catches up. That is why winners keep rising. They keep casting votes for the self they want, until that self is undeniable. So what is the path? You must start seeing every action as a ballot. Every choice as an election. Every day as a campaign for your future identity. When you feel like skipping, remind yourself, this is not just about today, it is about who I am becoming. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself, every time I act, I cast a vote for strength. When you feel like drifting, remind yourself, my future is being decided right now, one choice at a time. This is how you break the cycle of most people, the cycle of quitting and starting, promising and failing. You stop thinking of actions as temporary, and you start seeing them as permanent votes for your destiny. Stack enough votes, and quitting is no longer possible. Stack enough votes, and results are inevitable. Now say it with me: I cast my votes daily, I build my identity through action, I finish because I am a finisher. Comment below, I vote to win to declare it. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Fatigue is the great divider. Anyone can take action when they are full of energy, when the mood is high, when their body feels light and strong. But fatigue, that heavy weight in your muscles, that fog in your brain, that voice whispering, "Rest now," it doesn't matter. That is where most people fall. They confuse being tired with being finished. They assume fatigue is a signal to stop, when in truth fatigue is the test. If you only act when you feel fresh, you are not disciplined, you are dependent. And that is why most quit, and only a few win. Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself you'd stick with something until the end, but gave up the moment exhaustion appeared? You ran until your legs burned, then stopped. You studied until your head hurt, then quit. You worked until the challenge got uncomfortable, then told yourself you'd return tomorrow. But tomorrow never came with the same promise. You let fatigue define you, instead of letting fatigue refine you. Here is the hidden code: fatigue is not the end of capacity, it is the beginning of growth. Muscles do not grow until they are pushed beyond comfort. Skills do not sharpen until they are practiced past boredom. Focus does not strengthen until it is stretched beyond ease. Fatigue is the door between who you are and who you could become. Most people turn back at the door. Winners walk through it. Here is the reversal: stop seeing fatigue as weakness. Start seeing it as evidence that you are finally working in the territory of change. The body complains, the mind resists, but those are signals that you are moving into rare ground, the ground where most people quit. If you keep going there, you separate forever. Because few are willing to continue when tired. And that few always wins. So what is the path? Train your mind to welcome fatigue. Don't dread it, chase it. Say, this is where the real work begins. When the burn shows up in your workout, don't stop, that is the moment you are building strength. When the boredom creeps into your practice, don't quit, that is the moment you are wiring mastery. When the exhaustion tempts you to sleep early on your dreams, resist, that is the moment you prove your discipline is stronger than your comfort. You must build rituals for fatigue. Anchor small cues that remind you that you are not done just because you feel drained. Even one extra rep, one extra page, one extra push when tired is worth 10 done in comfort. Because it tells your identity, I am someone who does not collapse at fatigue. I am someone who finishes tired. And the more you stack those wins, the stronger you become. Now say it with me, I act in fatigue, I rise when tired, I finish even when exhausted. Comment below, I finish tired, to declare it. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Excuses are not to be managed, they are to be destroyed. Most people make the mistake of believing they can control their excuses, that they can allow a few here and there without consequence. They think, it's just one missed day, it's just one skipped step, I'll make up for it later. But this is the trap, excuses are like weeds. If you let even one grow, it multiplies. It spreads. It digs into the soil of your identity until your entire garden is overrun. And that is why most people lose their results not from one catastrophic failure, but from a slow infestation of tolerated excuses. You must understand this truth, excuses never stay small. One excuse invites another. A single not today becomes a week of drifting. A week of drifting becomes a month of lost momentum. A month becomes a year, and soon your dream is buried under layers of excuses. And yet, people still tell themselves, I'll get back on track. But by then, the track has vanished. This is the hidden code, excuses don't pause your journey, they erase it. Here is the reversal, you cannot coexist with excuses. You cannot negotiate with them. You cannot manage them. You must annihilate them the moment they appear. Winners treat excuses like fire in their home, no matter how small, it must be put out instantly. They don't wait, they don't rationalize, they don't soften. They know that the longer an excuse lives, the stronger it becomes. That is why they kill it on sight. Think about it. How many goals have you abandoned because of the slow spread of excuses? How many times have you looked back at a lost year and realized it was not one big failure, but 100 small tolerations? Every later became never. Every tomorrow became too late. That is the poison of excuses. And if you are not ruthless, it will consume you. So what is the path? Build an identity that is allergic to excuses. Catch them the moment they whisper. When your mind says, you're too tired, answer, I am stronger than fatigue. When your schedule says, you're too busy, answer, I make time for what matters. When fear says, it's not the right moment, answer, the right moment is now. This ruthless refusal rewires your brain. You stop being a victim of excuses and start being a destroyer of them. Winners are not excuse managers, they are excuse killers. That is why they rise while others stagnate. They don't give excuses oxygen, and because they don't, they breathe results instead. Now say it with me, no excuses, no delays, only discipline, only results. Comment below, no excuses, to declare it. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Most people treat discipline like a tool, something they pick up when they feel motivated, something they use for a short burst, something they set aside when it feels heavy. That is why they never win. Because discipline is not a tool you grab when convenient, it is a lifestyle you live, a way of breathing, a permanent state of being. The hidden code of results is this: discipline cannot be temporary. It must be woven into who you are. Look at those who quit. They think discipline is seasonal. They use it when they want to lose weight, when they want to start a project, when they want to fix a crisis. But as soon as the short-term goal fades, their discipline disappears too. They never understood that discipline is not a short-term solution, it is a long-term identity. And that is why results never stay with them. The winners live differently. They don't say, I'll use discipline for a while. They say, discipline is who I am. They build their days around it, not their moods. They build their identity on it, not their circumstances. They know that habits are not separate from life, they are life. That is why they keep rising, while the rest keep restarting. Here is the reversal: discipline is not something you practice sometimes, it is something you become. It is not a part of your schedule, it is the fabric of your schedule. You don't ask, should I be disciplined today? The answer is always yes, because there is no version of you that is not disciplined. Just as you breathe without deciding, you act with discipline without negotiation. So what does this look like in practice? It means no matter where you are, who you are with, or how you feel, your standards stay the same. You wake at the time you promised, whether it is vacation or workday. You eat according to your principles, whether anyone is watching or not. You push yourself to finish, whether it is exciting or boring. You no longer ask for motivation, because the lifestyle itself carries you. Imagine this shift. Instead of discipline being an external force you apply, it becomes an internal truth you live. Every action flows from it. Every choice echoes it. Every result proves it. This is the hidden code. Stop practicing discipline and start becoming discipline. Now say it with me, discipline is my lifestyle, not my tool. I breathe it, I live it, I finish because of it. Comment below, I live discipline to declare it. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Life is never stable. The environment is always moving, people change, opportunities shift, challenges appear without warning. If your discipline depends on calm conditions, you will fail. Because discipline that bends with the wind is not discipline, it is convenience. And convenience never produces extraordinary results. Look closely at those who quit. They always have a reason tied to circumstances. Too tired today. Too busy this week. Too stressful this month. They build their consistency on the illusion of stability. But life is not stable, and excuses are endless. That is why they collapse as soon as things get difficult. The winners play a different game. They know the world will never slow down for them. So they anchor themselves with discipline as the constant. When the schedule is full, they still train. When emotions are heavy, they still write. When distractions are loud, they still move forward. Their results grow not because life is easy, but because they remain unmoved when life is hard. Here is the reversal. Stop waiting for better conditions. Stop waiting for the storm to pass. Your environment will always change, but you must remain the constant. Discipline is the anchor. It is the unshakable core that does not bend when the outside world shifts. How do you build this anchor? First, remove negotiation. Do not ask, should I do it today? The answer is always yes. Second, protect your rituals. Even if everything else is unpredictable, your rituals are not. Third, reframe hardship. Instead of saying, it's too difficult now, say, this is the exact training that makes me strong. Imagine yourself in chaos, deadlines pressing, emotions high, people pulling at your attention. While most panic, you breathe steady and act on your discipline. That steadiness separates winners from quitters. You become the eye of the storm, clear and unmoved. That is the hidden code of results. Discipline must be your anchor, the one constant in a world of shifting variables. Now say it with me, I am the constant. My discipline is unshakable. I act regardless of conditions. Comment below, I am the constant to claim it. And subscribe right now so you never miss your daily mindset reset. Results do not explode overnight. They grow in silence, in small increments that compound into something massive. This is the law that most people ignore, and it is the reason most quit. They expect the harvest after only a few days of planting seeds. They expect applause after 1 week of discipline. When results don't arrive on their schedule, they call it failure. But the truth is simple, the results were still growing underground, invisible to the impatient eye. Look at the pattern. Someone begins with energy. They start the gym, they start the business, they start the book. But after 2 weeks, no transformation. After 1 month, still small. They decide, this is not working. They walk away, never realizing they were inches from the breakthrough. That is why the majority quit. They measure progress by immediate payoff instead of compounding return. Winners understand the hidden code. They know discipline plus time equals results. Every small action is a deposit. Every repetition is an investment. And just like money compounds in a bank, effort compounds in the body, in the mind, in the skills you build. At first it looks tiny. At first it looks invisible. But give it time, and the curve bends upward. Suddenly the growth is undeniable. The reversal here is this: stop asking when. Stop measuring by short-term visibility. Stop demanding immediate proof. Your job is not to demand results, your job is to keep depositing discipline. The code is this: results lag, but they never fail when discipline remains consistent. So what is the method? First, detach from instant gratification. Do not chase quick wins, build lasting habits. Second, track deposits, not outcomes. Count the days you showed up, not the numbers on the scale or the views on the screen. Third, trust the compounding law. Just like water heating, nothing seems to change until the moment it boils, and then everything shifts at once. Picture this: day after day, you rise, you work, you act. Nothing grand, nothing viral, nothing glamorous. Then one day, the breakthrough arrives, your strength is visible, your skills are sharp, your results undeniable. The world calls it sudden success, but you know the truth. It was compounded discipline, invisible for months, now visible forever. Now claim it with me: I trust the law of compounding. My discipline is my investment. My results are guaranteed by my consistency. Comment below, compounding discipline, to lock it in. And subscribe right now, so you never miss the next code that separates quitters from winners. You have walked through the hidden code. From the first moment of awareness to the power of discipline, from breaking excuses to embracing compounding, you have seen why most quit and why few win. The truth has repeated itself in every example. It is not talent that decides results, it is not luck, it is not timing, it is discipline. Discipline is the lever that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. Habits are the gears that carry you forward when motivation runs dry. Now let us step back and see the whole picture. Why do most quit? Because they build their journey on emotion instead of discipline. They wait for conditions, they negotiate with their habits, they demand quick proof, they allow weak thoughts to control their action. And every one of those mistakes is invisible until it is too late. That is why the majority remain average. Why do the few win? Because they discover the hidden code. They cut off excuses before they grow. They treat discipline as law, not preference. They build habits so strong that skipping is harder than showing up. They measure deposits, not applause. They trust compounding when nothing seems to change. They guard their minds like a fortress, and they move forward when everyone else waits. That is the difference. Not mystery, not magic, just code. Here is the reversal that must be branded into your identity. Stop looking for shortcuts, stop waiting for signs, stop doubting the process. The code is already written. Every habit you build is a line of code. Every act of discipline is another function. And when you write enough of them, your life runs on a program that guarantees results. That is how you stop quitting. That is how you become the few who win. So what must you do now? First, make a final decision: no more excuses. Every excuse you allow steals a piece of your future. Second, make a vow to discipline. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. Third, commit to habits that will outlive your moods. Because moods will fade, but habits endure. And habits multiplied by time equal destiny. Remember this: the hidden code of results is not hidden anymore. You have seen it, you have heard it, you can live it. Most will quit because they refuse to apply it. Few will win because they choose to obey it. Which side are you on? Say it with me, loud and clear: I live by discipline. I build by habit. I finish what I start. This is my code. Comment below: I obey the code to seal your commitment. And subscribe right now, so you never miss the next mindset reset that separates the many who drift from the few who win.